Since my last video went out, I was feeling a little bit burnt out. Learning to film, edit and upload a YouTube video in a month was a little bit tiring, as well as doing my usual job and also getting a cold twice. The cold and flu season was pretty rough at the end of winter, but as it's officially spring now, the sun is out, the flowers are blooming, the breeze is gorgeous. I knew I needed a little bit of a spring reset, especially because I got sick, my screen time went through the roof again. So I want to connect with some of the lessons we learned in August, and that started with touching grass. On this very rare, beautiful lunch break, I knew I needed to just have a little moment to myself. I sat down by this gorgeous river and had a delicious moment of serenity with this overpriced lemon slice, but it really hit the spot. And just the breeze, the noises of nature, it's the ultimate reset. I also knew in this spring reset, from what we learned in the last vlog, creating is the ultimate hack for the brain. So I knew I had to make some art, and building on the little habits we created last time, I want to do a full painting. So join me this vlog as we reset and hopefully by the end have a completed painting. But of course, the first thing we need to do in a spring reset is take ourselves to an op shop and get some inspiration. Hopefully you can see me all right. That went amazing. Oh my gosh, there was just so much happening in the traffic just then. Okay, great. We're gonna go around. It's a war zone out here. All right. That was amazing. I didn't get hardly any footage of going into the op shop. Again, first time properly filming inside of an op shop. It's terrifying, honestly. Mad props to the vlog girlies that do full op shop videos. Probably why I love them so much, because I could absolutely never. So I did get a sneaky peek. I have no idea if anything was in focus. This is what we get when we use our old digital Nikons. But I'm so excited to show you the book haul. I just went a little bit crazy. One of them wasn't for this purpose. It's an incredible sustainability book. And my company could potentially use it as a prize. So it's stunning, and it's got a signature from someone I'm assuming is important, or maybe even the author. So yeah, just incredible. I might hit up another op shop because I didn't get any proper magazines. That's the thing. I went to these op shops to look for some proper magazines to maybe cut out, feel a little bit less pressure with. Instead, I found stunning books, which I am not mad about. I got like 5 hardbacks for $20. Insane value. Da Vinci, Australian artists, Van Gogh, texture, a lot of gorgeous images on the pages, and I'll take you through them when we get home. And by that I mean whenever I end up getting to film, because this is a sneaky clip I wasn't planning on doing. But yeah, okay, I could keep waffling, but I am so excited right now. hit a bit of a hurdle finishing my fountain painting, which was bound to happen. Doing a full painting has too much pressure on it. I put too much pressure on it. There shouldn't be, but I put it on there. So when that happens, we procrastinate with other things. I decided yesterday, when the weather was all right, honestly, and it wasn't even on my to-do list. It was kind of like sneaky gardening, which is probably why I'm gardening in jeans. That's not usually my go-to, jeans and a band t-shirt, is because I was getting ready to go see a friend, ready to go out. I had about 45 minutes until I had to leave, and I knew the rest of the week was going to be rainy, and I was like, you know what? Let's just see how much we get done. Our backyard is insane. It has like a million different types of plants and grasses, which the chaos in me doesn't mind, and I like that the birds like all the different seed varieties, but there's a couple species that just grow up to here so quickly in spring. So I kind of did a targeted cut. I just zigzagged around the property to get the main places that needed to be cut, that I knew would grow really quick. And I also did a bit of strategic weeding. There's these really tall fake dandelions. I don't know what they're called, but they get really huge and then they get tangled in sticky weed. I hate sticky weed. I need to do some more research if it's edible or you can make teas out of it, because any plant that pisses me off in the backyard, I try and see if it's edible, because then it becomes a free farm. And then I also randomly got given boysenberry, like cut-offs, boysenberry plants. My friend, who is so much more talented at gardening than I am, gifted me these boysenberries, and I just ended up planting it in an old tomato pot. It still had soil in it. I just topped it up with a couple things here and there. I ended up digging with solar lights that no longer work. Why do solar lights break so easily? It just feels like such a waste. And now I've got these random things on the property. But I digress. I felt really proud of myself for getting those planted. And oh, I'm glad I had leather gloves. Boysenberry needles are insane. I was tempted to just plant it in an area of the backyard that I just don't want to deal with. However, I just don't want it to become a weed like blackberries are. And they're also, like, blackberries are a noxious weed and it's illegal to plant them not potted. I wasn't sure if boysenberries are that as well, but I didn't want to risk it. Very excited to add boysenberries to my harvest in the backyard. And the other thing I did was to kind of forage, I guess you could say, really suburban foraging of the sweet violets that grow naturally in the backyard. So yes, I decided to pick some violet flowers. You can make violet syrup out of it. And then the following day I actually picked a bunch of the leaves because they're edible, and even though they're not young, you don't really want to use them in salads, but I just blanched them, put them in an ice bath and seasoned them with like a miso, black bean, soy marinade, and I just cut up a bunch of kimchi and tossed it with that, and it became a nice little banchan to put on white rice to go with like an egg. And I've been obsessed with oyster mushrooms at the moment, so I made an amazing dish out of that. So we're feeling pretty connected to nature. I feel like we did a good session of gardening. We did a bit of cooking, which is great. But now I think we need to tackle the art room. The art room at the moment, you are strategically placed not to see any of the chaos, but there are piles of laundry around me that need to be put away. There's half-started projects that, rather than inciting inspiration, stress me out, because half the floor of this room is just covered in projects that have been half started. So what we're going to do is we're taking a break from the main painting, because the whole goal is to reset for summer. The whole goal is to reset for spring. We're winding up the cold and flu season, fingers crossed, despite my voice not sounding amazing. I'm manifesting that we're not sick anymore, hence the fancy herbal tea concoctions that I'm making myself. And we're gonna reset this room, because when this room is reset, I'm ready for the next artistic challenge, and the whole goal is to wind back the damage that being sick did with my phone. The screen time has skyrocketed again. So we're going to bring back and implement those things that we started exploring in August. And just going to keep trying. Just going to keep trying to reduce that screen time. When you're sick, the thing that uses the least amount of energy is consuming content. So it makes sense. So we're going to be compassionate with ourselves. So that's the goal. And we're back for the final painting session. We're just getting ourselves sorted. Honestly, just psyching ourselves up because we know that this painting only has a few more sessions left in it before I start overworking it, and there's a couple key areas that really need to be tackled. We're planning, we're listening to bangers, and most importantly, I saved you from a boring montage of all the cleaning that happened in the art room to get us to this space. There were also many other painting sessions before this one, but for the purpose of actually getting the painting done and my enjoyment, I didn't film them all, although I filmed the most I've ever filmed myself painting, and it turns out it's a long process. Just getting through all this footage has been a long process. I hope it's been relatively interesting watching the process of painting, particularly if you've never painted before. Maybe it's interesting. If you have painted before, I'm sorry if this is infuriating. I won't be making more videos like this necessarily, but I just, for the purposes of resetting the spring, I really wanted to commit to finishing a spring-inspired painting. And at this stage, I was really excited for some of the more decorative elements of the painting, and that's where I got my palette knife out. Thick paint makes me happy, and acrylics are amazing for drying really, really quick, but I also know that they're not always as vibrant as oils, so I really laid on the paint thick, had a really rough idea of the figurines of the fountain. The fountain's very old and worn, so we didn't want much detail on the fountain, and honestly, for my own painting process, getting too bogged down in detail is never a good thing for me. In saying that, it does need detail here and there, so once the larger shapes were put in, I did go in with a finer brush and just add some of those contrast shadows to make them pop, and then start working a bit more detailed in the shadows and in the fountain. This is the last clip I have of the painting process, but there are a couple key elements I will finish off screen, particularly the plants coming out of the fountain. They had to do the last element, as well as the final touches on the rose bush. All the leaves needed to be added to the rose bush, and of course, if you look down into the water, you can see heaps of plants coming out of the fountain as well, and those are all finished off screen. Now for the final reveal. Ta-da! Huh? I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited by it. I should probably take that off. There we go. But look at it! I finished a painting in a month-ish. Like, I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, at the time, so I have a rule when I finish a painting, I have to put it
under a table or in a different room for 2 weeks, because when I finish a painting, I hate it. Because all I can see is what could be fixed, what could have been done better, and all that jazz. But after 2 weeks of it being under a table, I would walk past and kind of go, did I do that? I'm low-key very excited by the painting. I think I did a lot well. I brought in that colour that I really wanted to. I'm pretty happy with the grass, which, like anything, it's better in person. Like, you can see the texture in person. I tried to film a little bit in some natural light, so hopefully you could see a little bit more of the textures of like the grass and the fountain paintings and the texture of the actual fountain itself, the sculpture elements. But otherwise, I'm really happy with it. I was pretty tired by the end of it, and I was like, I can't paint again. But I'm really happy with it. There's not much else to say. I think we successfully reset spring. We did a full painting. We did a full video again. So that's pretty exciting. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this again, but it was kind of novel, exciting, motivating to document doing a full painting. And do a couple little reset productive procrastinations along the way, as well as getting in touch with nature, because it is a beautiful, chaotic time seasonally. So I'm really excited for that. Oh, sorry, the light's changing. Talking about the chaotic spring vibes, the light is crazy. But yeah. There's not much else to say. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint a full painting. For context, this is acrylics. I can't remember if I said that or not. Thanks for watching me do a little gardening, a little chaotic op shopping. I did actually never show you those books, so I'll insert a clip here of some of the books I picked up from that op shop. So this video was a little bit chopped here and there, but I'm hoping the next video will be a little bit more succinct. I have a big ambitious goal for next video, which is to sew a spring wardrobe. Yeah, you might think with that claim that I am a good sewist. I'm not. I have never successfully sewn something that I wanted to wear, except pajama shorts that no one will ever see, that look like an adult nappy. So tune in next time. It'll probably be the same sort of timing, about a month and a bit to make a video, especially if I'm sewing, let's be honest. I'm not sure how long that'll take, but after that I'm also going to be starting some crafts and hopefully making gifts for the holiday season, which is terrifying that the year's going that fast. But thank you for watching, and I hope you had a cozy moment and your spring or your autumn is going well. Take care.